Now, it's back to school for some pupils in June. Grade 7 and grade 12 pupils will go back to school on the 1st of June, while teachers will report for duty on Monday, that's the 25th of May. Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga says each child will receive 2 washable masks. For reaction, I'm joined by Equal Education's Noncedo Matubetube, and she joins us via Skype. Ms. Matubetube, thanks for your time. I want to start with the Minister's initial statements at that very first public briefing, and she spoke about the principle of opening schools at the right time, which would be acceptable once all conditions are met. You listened to her words yesterday, and she talks about a principle of just-in-time delivery. Does that give you reassurance that indeed schools are ready to open?
Similarly, in the first briefing, the minister also said to us, we are planning forward but working backwards. And I think the Department of Basic Education is sitting inside the consequence of its underperformance for the last couple of years. So when the minister says to us just-in-time delivery, I mean, we want to associate that with the supply chain rhetoric or language. But we are concerned at the ability of the Department of Basic Education to be able to meet even the most basic and fundamental sort of standard operating procedures or protocols, and especially for provinces that are rural, and especially for communities that sit with schools inside quintile 1, 2, and 3. Those are the schools that solely depend on support and resources from government, and so wouldn't even be able to fill the gaps in the event that these things aren't delivered or don't happen in time. Another thing, just in addition to that, is when you think about just one issue, the procurement of PPE. It's a well-known fact that if the procurement of PPEs for all schools were done at a national level, and the procurement channels or protocols were done with the National Treasury from the DBE, we would be in a better position to ensure that the number of personal protective equipment needed would have gone to provinces. Delegating this responsibility to provinces has created such robust administration and a lack of transparency and accountability in partners being able to fulfill their commitments to the departments of basic education at a provincial level of delivering these goods. So we'll see now that rural provinces, Eastern Cape, Limpopo, Mpumalanga, the Northwest, all come out saying we aren't ready. But yesterday the Department of Basic Education said all provinces are ready, and what we're saying is that outside the MEC's briefings today, we'd like to see progress reports from every province put up on the Department of Basic Education's website and shared publicly, so parents are taken into confidence and feel less anxious about returning to schools, and the same goes for learners.
Noncedo, just this main question I want to zoom in on now. The issue of infrastructure when it comes to, for example, the eradication of pit toilets, schools that have been without water for many years, that's something that the department has not been able to meet. Now, COVID-19 has come, and it appears that the minister is saying all of these will suddenly be met. Do you think that the public will finally get to see whether indeed all these measures can be met, and in particular in a short space of time?
Because of the situation at hand, I'm holding my breath. I'm hoping that it can all be met. When they say that they're going to be rechanneling funds that were put down for extracurricular activities, for example, the travel of public officials, to make sure that the standard operating procedures or the basic necessities for schools to open will be met, I want to believe in the intention. Whether or not it's going to be able to happen with the help of implementing agents, I'm not convinced. And this is the big worry, right? So in the address, the minister says, we've profiled schools that need water, they'll be getting that water in with just-in-time delivery. And my concern with that is if she was taking the country into her confidence, she should have said, we've profiled this number of schools in these geographic areas in order to meet the backlog of water insecurity in schools of 3,500, this unsafe and undignified sanitation of only plain pit latrines being in over 3,700 schools. Then we would have talked about numbers, scope, geography, figured out who the implementing agents are, talk about budget implications. But we don't have any of this information, which makes me nervous to believe that it can be done in the next 2 weeks. When I think about schools that for a long time, Northern KZN, have had these issues for a long period. Members in Limpopo at Equal Education have said to us, look, we've gone entire schooling careers without water in our schools.
Yeah.
And the fundamental messaging around COVID protection has been wash your hands. So I'm really, really concerned, but I'm hoping that the rechanneling of funds and the all-hands-on-deck approach that government is carrying at the moment will lend to something positive for those schools.
Final question to you, Nangata, and if you could just be brief for me. The Minister did not address one issue yesterday, and I'm not sure whether it was indeed asked by fellow journalists, and it was about social distancing, particularly in class. We were not told how many children will there be per classroom. Have you been told what that figure will be, and how will social distancing actually work when more and more grades go back to school?
Phase back in. So look, we're going to look at what information comes onto the Department of Basic Education's website today, and hopefully those kinds of details will be in there. But she answered the question by saying the phase-in approach allows for alternative use, alternative venue use for schools. And so as learners come back gradually, there'll be plenty of space inside schools, but no real detail or evidence of how we're going to, use evidence from health experts to relay the exercise of taking learners back into classrooms. It was just a careless sort of media briefing, and so we look forward to the detail and information shared on the website. And EE will be working to get that information out into communities in a popular education sort of style.
All right, and she is from the organization Equal Education. Thanks.